Welcome to Preserving Our Oral History. Today we're featuring Leon Williams, well known as Brother Lee.
Well, during my small days, right, it was really difficult in those times. Not like it is not like now, right? Because in those days, all I can recall, right? I can recall when I was a small boy. Um, it was really difficult, like I said, because we used to only do we used to use like cassava bread, fish. That, that was that was the thing was just farm, and my parents used to do farm, and we just do like that. So that I grew up like that, you know, and and from there, as we grew up, and when we want to go in Georgetown or going down, to purchase food items, we use the river, we pull down. It takes a long time. 65 miles from here to the village, Mahiko village. 65 miles, so it takes a lot. And it's going to take a day from here. If you leave here about 6 o'clock in the morning, or still about 4 or 5 o'clock. So that's a long distance to paddle boat. So it was difficult during my small days. And now, as I grew up, um, I went to school. I went to the. We only had one school. That was the primary school, and I went there. Not very far in education. I never went far in education because my father, right? My father used to do. He loved his alcohol. That is his hobby. And because of that, I kind of started to go further in school. So I just went to fourth standard during those days because they had like four, you know, prep A in those days, right? I'm telling about my time. You had prep A, prep B, and then you had first standard, second standard, fourth standard, fifth, sixth standard, and that is it. So I kind of go far in school because of that. So it was difficult for me, to take my education, but you know, and in those days again, job was job. There was no job like today. Now, as far as I see, like we have the mining companies, right? And a lot of people get job now. They also have the chainsaw. They can do the work with the chainsaw. But in those days was we had to use axe and cutlass to do our work, and was really rough during my young days. Then was really rough, really rough. But you know, I had to work then, and then I get married right here. I just do woodwork. I make like wall posts, lantern posts, and things like that. Was it? Not like now you can you have a chainsaw, you can do some, rip some boards and things like that, materials then. So that was it. So it was really difficult. And during those times, again, during those days, you can't use the highway because it was not highway then. That time. It was not highway. I could recall 1967, 67, 66, 7, the Linden Highway. They began to build the Linden Highway. From there and then, they use the road. We stop use the river, right? So we walk from here. It take 2 years, right, to complete the highway. It take 2 years. And after the highway complete, we use that because we can walk from here to the highway, get the bus. And in those days, they had a big 36 seater bus. I think it was 36 seater, big bus. So we kept the bus because that was the transportation from Linden to Georgetown, Linden from Georgetown to Linden. So we walk from here and catch the highway, walk from here to catch the highway, and then get the bus from here, go down to town, do what we have to do, come back, and we walk in back again. So it was difficult. real difficult, really rough. The walking, I think it's 11 miles or 12 miles, I think. Mhm. But before that, right, before this highway was built, we had to walk from here to Yarocabra. We had to walk, right? We walk. There's, we had to walk. And it's more farther from here. And can you go through the back? We go to Maduni, where that place is. Um, we got a place at Maduni here. There we walk through there and catch the Yarocabra Road, and you can tell at the highway. And you walk from there and you catch things. That was before the highway built then. I should have mentioned that before. That was before the highway built, right? We had to walk from here to there. And it is more farther and difficult. Sometimes when the rain fall, you have to go. You have to still go. There's not no option, no option. You still have to go. Sometimes you leave here. You leave here around about right in the morning. You leave here. You leave here about 1 o'clock in the night, in the morning, and you reach by your cab around about 5 o'clock, 5:30, when you catch transportation again. So it was difficult, real difficult for us. But we had to make out somehow or the other. You see, it was really rough during those times. Mhm. But we are still here, and the younger ones now enjoying it. Now you see what happened. Now we get we didn't have taxi like today. We didn't have taxi. I can remember the first time was during which two show. I think was Uncle Michael Simon, right? Jack Simon, right? I think it's when he was two show. I think we had a tractor. We get a tractor from the government with a trailer. And then from there we stop walk now. We used to we used to catch the tractor. We used to go with the tractor till the Yarabra. From there we catch transportation to go to town, come back and take back the tractor. So but today now, what you find a taxi, you can get a taxi any hour you want. The taxi, if you go out, you call, you're gonna coming back. You can leave here now and before night you can't coming back. You see? So now it was really rough for us. It was really rough, but we're still making it. Until now, we're still there. Yeah, the young people enjoying it. The young people enjoying it today because I can see some of them have taxi, and buses and things like that. It was not like that. And you see now, look, and today, right? Look, this morning, there's a van came in with selling ice cream. We can't get an opportunity that during our time. For us to get an ice cream, you have to go down. Then we can enjoy ice cream. But you see now, ice cream is like the goods, right? The goods. We have to go down by, by the village to collect, purchase our goods, come back. Well, you bring the entire food stuff. Or what you need, like what you need, you buy, you purchase, and that is it. But now we have the shop right here. You don't have to, as long as you got the money, or you can just go and say, well, I want so much this, so much of that, and things like that. So it was really difficult in those times. But now it's not. We enjoy it. And during our time, right? They used to. When I was young, then I remember you see this word Mashramani. Good. This word Mashramani, right? In those days, like if let me say that if I have something to work to be done, right? Like if I have a farm to cut down, or a farm to underbush, or something to do, some work, right? Or weeding the farm. Now, what the elder ones usually do, they make some drinks, right? They make some drinks out of the cassava, this the bambali, what they call it, right? And they make a limited amount. Now they're going to ask, like if you say about 10 person, they're going to ask, well, I want us, come and see if you can help me to do this type of work on such and such day. And they say, okay, good. So you get about 10, 12 persons to do the work, right? And they provide breakfast and they provide lunch. They provide breakfast and they provide lunch. So when you after your breakfast, you gone under the work, whatever you have to. What is the work? That what is the work? Then you gone and do it, right? And this time you complete the work and you come. So they call it Mashramani, right? That was the word for it, Mashramani. And now I hear this simply Mashramani, and I follow it up. I follow, but I hear like you heard about Mashramani today, right? After they come now, they make some drinks, a limited amount of drinks. Sometimes it's cane juice, sometimes the same thing I'm telling about. And they drink and they drink and they enjoy it, and that was it. And so they were the Mashramani come. Like the Arawak, but I don't know how the other like tribes. I don't know how they mention what type of word they use like us the Mashramani. I don't know if it's a different type of word they use. So that is it. I used to play cricket when I was a small boy, but when I was small going to school, I play cricket, but I never go far like how these boys play cricket like today. I know I frighten them saying the bad, so I didn't play. I never like to involve. I never being a young man, right? I never involved in like card playing, dominoes, draft, and such like. The only game I like is this cricket and as well. But after this hard ball thing, I don't I don't want that. I put that aside. So not much of them. During school days, like I'm telling you, just school days, just school days, just school days, not just school days only. Well, to be honest with you, I was my wife was the first person involved in church activity, but I wasn't. So after she after we got married and things like that, right? We got married, getting children. She decided to follow the church. Got children. We had three children already, and they were growing up. So as they were growing up, she followed. And you know, I used to use the alcohol and things like that. I used to be like that, like any other young man too. Like or any other man, I used to drink and dance. But after my children began to grow, right? Like three children, um, like I said to myself, nobody didn't sit and talk to me about this, but I see something there. I said to myself, I sit and I think to myself, and I said, if I continue in that way, my children that will be growing up, they would follow my footsteps. And I wouldn't like that, because if I continue and they do something wrong, or they follow the same thing that I'm doing, I'm going to do, I can't talk to them, because the first thing I'm pointing the finger strategy, you're doing the same thing. So that is how now I decide now to go follow to be like my wife, follow the church. And I was there for some years and years and years and years. And I go to church like any other body. Go to church, I go to church. It take a long time to be like to come as a leader in the church, in the church. It take a long time, about 10 years it takes for me to be like a leader in the church as a pastor. And then I was chosen to be a leader. Then I was a leader, the church board. That I involved in that first, and then I was promoted now to be a pastor, and until now I'm still. I think that was what's year 20, 19, 70. No, they take a long time. What time? A couple years it takes for me to be like a pastor, or to be a pastor. And I find it, you know, I find it very good. Like, I mean, I enjoy it, and I can tell others, bring others, and tell them, well, here, like what I said, wrong things is not right. Wrong is wrong, right is right, and I can bring them to that and share with them. And I find it, I feel comfortable. I feel happy about it, and that is the reason why I'm still standing on top. And, you know, it is very difficult, because you can't deal with everybody. because you cannot please everybody. You try to do your best, but you get opposition, just like the government. You get opposition in the church. Sometimes you get in the home, you get opposition. That is what I mean. But I said, I will have to stand. I will have to stand. I can't give up. I will have to stand, regardless of what, who is opposition, who don't like and who like. I'm just going to still stand. And so here I am. Here I am then, and I'm still standing. Until now. So, all right, let me go with this rod first. The rod, you got a special word they call yari yari, right? I don't know if your husband ever tell you about that word. During white week times, he used to use that word they call yari yari. Take that for the rod. And in those times, right? Coming back to not now. We have like buying from the shop right now, but in those times um we got a plant, right? We got a plant. What's the name of this plant? Oh, I think it's if I can remember. I think it's the name of the plant was silk cotton. I think they call it silk cotton. Anyway, it's something like a pine, right? It's something like a pine plant, but it doesn't have the pins like on the edge, like the pine, right? The pine thing they have pine like a split at the end. But this one is smooth, but it grow like a pine. And what the elder ones used to do now, they take it and they make something. They make let me see how they do it. They bust the wood. No, they they, they, they tie a rope, right? A strong rope, and they pull that pull the same. They cut it. They cut this. They shoot. They do like the planting. They like the cane. What must call it then? The cane apart. The leaf, the cane leaf. No? Good. They take it and they cut it, and they put a fat rope, and they put it inside, and they pull it right. They pull it tight, and it pull. Then it pulls something white come out like a hair, like a gray hair. Remember it lamb, and they do about a 4 or 5 they pull, and it white, like a white hair, long white hair. So what they do? They 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 take it, they wash it after it come like a line. It takes like a line now. It's like a line, right? It's fine line. They wash it out, and they dry. And when they dry that now, after a certain days when it dry, I don't know how long, but it dry. It got to dry. It got to dry. And when it dry now, they take it and they spin it. They spin it, right? It's like so it become like a toy. And that is the thing they used to in those days they used to use for hook line. Silk cotton, I think it was. The name of it, silk cotton. And that is the line we use. The yari rod. But now they have the catguts. They have the catguts. In those times, in my time then, hook used to sell in the shop just like this type of hook. The same type of hook, different type of hook. This bike. You know, had no kind of different, but the same hook like today. Mm-hmm. So was real, but this silk cotton, the line right is stiff and it's strong. You know, it's strong. It's strong. It's really strong. Mm-hmm. It's silk cotton. So it's really strong. So that was the line, and then the fish in it. And you know, fish during those days, right? During those days, there was a lot of fish during those days. Yeah, you had like different, like you had patwa, waber, lokanani, horian. You know, all sort of fishing we love to and things like that. Warber and that kind of thing. It was not like now you get chicken every day. You don't get chicken. You just get like you got your plantain, you got your cassava. Sometimes you make soup and things like that, right? You know, sometimes and another thing, right? In those days, if a neighbor over there have, let me say, they have cassava, they have banana plant, they send for you. Say, look, do a bunch of hana banana or hana, you know, in those days, right? but not today. If you want a banana from the neighbor, you have to go and buy it. You know, they could have able to give you two fish. Could have give you two fish, but three cassava, sweet cassava, and things like that. Maybe a sweet cassava. But today you don't get you really have to get a good friend before he or she can give you. Yeah, you have to give really good. But no. If you want something for your neighbor, now you have to go and buy it. If you want a fish, you have to go and buy it. Then I'll give you. But that was different time from this time. Different time. So I think that is it. That is it. That is it. You see, today, and another thing concerning young people in general, or people in general, it doesn't have to be young people. You can develop. You can blame the young people alone. You got people in general, young or old, because it's the same thing you find. You find the same thing. Because today you see elder the elder ones are doing things that is not right. The young ones doing the same thing. So I can't say parent is the young people. No, I can't blame the young people. I can what I can say is that this gotta comes from the parents. If a young person is doing something wrong, he or she have a parent, I think the parents supposed to talk to the child. You know, talk to them. Now, let me say if a child brings something which is not his, he bring it home. And if the parents didn't ask the question, this is who this is who um this is who thing. I don't know. It could be one. There could be something, But this how you get this? Where you got it? Who give you? You know. But if you don't ask, you see what happens. If you don't ask, and today you find some of us like that as parents. We don't. We are not taking heed to what our young people are doing, and that comes from the parents. The parents have to know where the child bring this thing from, who he get it from, and things like that, right? So, I want what I can say is that today, no matter how you talk to young people, even my own children sometimes they don't listen. And you might say, one might say, man, here, you don't talk to your children. But there's an old saying, right? There's an old saying. There's an old saying says that your children come into this world because of you, and when they grow to an age, you can tell them nothing. They make their own way. They take their own way. They take their own way. In the religious way now, right? I follow, you know, I follow the Bible, right? And the Bible shows me not that every one of your children will follow your footsteps. That is what I know. And I've seen it in the Bible, and this is what I'm sharing here today. Everybody. I see that when I look at not everyone, they had kings in those days, they had priests, they had prophets, three persons they had in those days, but now they have everybody. And only those three persons was recognized in those days, not like now. They had the priest. The priest was a very important man and a respectable person. And then they have the kings, and then they have the prophets, three set of people. They were only recognized by God. But today, everybody feel that, well, here, I am this, I am that. I am this, I am that. I quite agree with that. But, you know, everybody have their own view or idea and things like that. They have their own way. Here, during my, I married in, there was only one church, that was the Anglican church. I married there in the Anglican church. And I I married there, Anglican church. That was only the one church. I go there, I go to church. I used to be what they call this, they had a word, something, the usher or something like that. I was there. And I go there, and the priest was very, it was a white, first it was a white guy. Like, what was the name of that white guy, that priest? Oh, Paul something was his name. I can't remember.
Dorman.
Paul, that was the next one. That was the next priest. And that was a, that was a, that priest was a very respectable person. Very respectable. And he goes around. It hadn't big, the village wasn't big like today, was just around it. Where the school is, the primary school, and had people all about by Kurokobani, had people say, had people by Scheme, had people by Egypt, had people by the place Kang, Taylor Creek side, by Auntie Alma side, had people all just only this. Okay. So he could have able, right? The priest could have able to walk around and check the people, and there wasn't plenty of people going there. Only on Sunday. Only when he comes to, he used to come every month. But you know, some people after they like, some people like, we just think that the church is nothing. The church is nothing. The church is nothing. The church wouldn't help, right? The church wouldn't help. But and so people began to fall away. They began to, they got a word that they use today. They're doing their own thing. They do their own thing, and and so people just not go to church. Like, and even if you find it today that people are not going to church, like, much people are going to church. I don't know the reason why. From that time, this time is very different. Like I said, right, it's a different time. Now, when I was a little boy, around like this Sunday, when my father said, "Well, here, you can go, you can go from here until when I tell you to go. You have to be there. When I tell you to do this, you have to do it. Do, if not, so it's a lecture you get in." I remember the very last time my father, he gave me a few lash. I was around about 12 years, I was around about 12 years he gave me. That was the last licks my father gave me. Yeah, 12 years, a big boy. He lashed me, beat me there. I don't know what he lash. I can't imagine that in the bus. He lashed me. Beat me then. Now today, it's very different from that time to this. From that time to this time. Hear what happened? Because if some, I hear many children, right, the stuff to their parents like if they're talking to a friend. Sometimes they're gonna say, "You so go for that thing. Go and pick up the thing and bring to me." You know what the child can say? You know what the child will say? "You can do it yourself." That's why I know. I hear and I see them things I say. So I'm glad you asked the same. You asked me that question. Yeah. So that time and this time different time. Or if they got tell me I got time with that. I don't have time with that. That's what I tell the parents. There's one me here and there's one me see. So during that time to this time, that was very different. From that time to this time, it's very different. So that was it. That was it.
Thank you to all the donors that made this project possible. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye. Until next time.